Hello, welcome to the shrimpery. And today we're going to show feeding shrimp with Shrimp King Yummy Gum. This comes as sort of a sticky paste. It's an algae-based product, so it looks kind of like this. It's like a sticky goo. And what I do is just pinch off a very small amount, like about that much, and then I'm going to stick it to the aquarium glass right above these poofs of cladophora. And it'll stick right to the glass. And I'll put another one in for the other poof of cladophora, which is so conveniently grown here. And it starts to sort of dissolve into a fine powder pretty quickly. You can see that. But baby shrimp just love it. After I put it in, they'll spend hours and hours picking all the little pieces out of the cladophora. So we're just going to leave this here to watch some shrimp eating for a while. Get to see lots of saddled females, buried females. This tank in particular, which is a Fluval Spec 5, has been running for a couple of years, and it just produces ridiculous amounts of baby shrimp. I kind of use this as the breeding tank to seed my other tanks. You might see some wild types in there. I'm not so good with the culling. I do cull, but my tanks are so heavily planted it's very difficult to catch them. You might see a few yellow shrimp, but mostly these are cherry shrimp. And at this point they're not very high quality because I've been letting the culls breed. But occasionally you'll see a really nice quality one. My shrimp came from, I got some from Aquatic Arts in the beginning, and then I got quite a few shrimp from Lucas Bretz at LRB Aquatics. He has really high quality USA bred and raised shrimp, and they did very, very well on my tanks. I have sort of a unique water condition here in that our tap water here in the Pacific Northwest is extremely soft. Like 20 to 50 TDS coming out of the tap. So I add a little bit of crushed coral. I also add a little bit of food grade calcium carbonate about once every couple of months, and a little bit of bicarbonate of soda to bring up the KH and the GH and the TDS. TDS ends up at about 180 to 200, and they seem to be fine and not have any molting problems. So I've thought about doing crystal shrimp since I have such soft water to begin with, and I'm not quite ready yet, but maybe this winter. I don't really want to order shrimp through the mail during the summer because it's just too hot for those little guys to be traveling. As you can see, they're just going nuts for this. Let's see if I can tip it up a little bit. Little babies are just going crazy, especially to the one in the back. I'm not sure when they're not hitting the poof in the front very heavily yet. I'm sure they will once they discover it. And you can see all different sizes of juvenile shrimp, from the little just hatched guys that look just like a little larvae almost. So this is also a really easy way to catch shrimp in your tank. The Yummy Gum is so popular that you can put it on and then just catch a big spoonful of them out. Let's see if I can tip this a little bit more towards that one. Yeah, see, they're just going crazy. Well, the little ones seem to be in this poof in the front a little more. Probably the big mamas are kind of taking over the poof in the back. Feed this about once. Well, I feed it maybe 2 or 3 times a week to the tanks with babies. They really seem to enjoy it. I also feed Shrimp King baby food, which is a powdered food, to the tanks with lots of babies. So I usually put in a small small, tiny scoop of it in the morning so that make sure the babies have something to eat all day long. All my tanks are so heavily planted that I have never had any detectable nitrates. So I do have to fertilize these tanks pretty heavily. I use Aquarium Co-op brand Easy Green, and I also use Seachem Iron and Seachem Trace, just very small amounts. I used to use Flourish Excel, but I find it to be unnecessary. I'm not sure that it really did anything for my tanks, so I stopped using it. Also, some people say that it can be very dangerous to human health and aquatic animal health, so I stopped using it. I pretty much found that the way to control algae for me is just to really make sure the plants are growing well. And once the plants are really settled in, the algae just kind of disappears. And also it helps that there are shrimp eating the algae and snails eating the algae. I do have lots of ram's horn snails and lots of Malaysian trumpet snails. I don't worry about them. Occasionally the population will get pretty crazy and I'll just throw a piece of zucchini in there, wait till it's covered in snails, take it out. Really simple way to control snails. You don't have to use any chemicals. Just, manual removal works very well. Wow, you can see they're really going for it now. There's a yellow one up top. It's a shrimp party. You can see the line on the back of some of them. I don't know, I don't have any molt deaths in here, although sometimes that line on the back can indicate a bad molt. Oh, there's a big female right up front. All those eggs. I do find some variety in the egg color. Mostly yellow, but occasionally I see like a dark green. I'm not sure if the dark green ones indicate that it's going to be a wild type shrimp as opposed to a red shrimp. I'd be curious if that was the case. Woohoo, they are going nuts. Grabbing all over each other. Just have to focus back to this one back here a little bit. All the big mamas are coming out now. I'm still learning how to use this camera. It's a pretty cheap Chinese camera. But I don't have an iPhone, so I had to buy a standalone camera. Well, that's about enough shrimp eating for the day. I hope you enjoy this video, and happy shrimp keeping.